You can't see it, but. Alrighty then, welcome back to episode number 2. Don't say.
It's a good one. It's a good episode today.
Well, they're all good because it's coming from us, so.
These
all
are
good.
We're going to be talking about the building blocks, the micro steps to taking major leaps in life.
Not stepping on Legos and shit.
No Lego stepping. So today we're going to talk about what we did to kind of get to a self-mastery point to progress into business ownership and whatnot. And I believe it all started with pumping that iron, making those gains.
Those gains. Cringe time.
That's all right.
So the basically what we're talking about is when we became best friends X amount of years ago, however long it was, one thing we had in common was the iron, moving the weight, lifting. We were so novice, but we knew everything back then, didn't we? We thought we did. We even had a YouTube channel trying to promote fitness, and we got discouraged with that, but like that's always been the constant. If you look back at the last 15 years of our lives together, doing everything we've done, lifting has been the thing that is the constant. Always. It's been the number one hobby, the number one reason for self-growth. It is the catalyst to everything we do in life. That constant and accomplishing goals, weight gaining, maxing out, getting higher weights on all that, just because I started at 130 pounds and now I'm 200 pounds.
I was probably, I would say, in the 160 range when we first started getting serious about it.
Mm-hmm.
But even in high school, I was on Adderall, like a lot of Adderall. So ADHD was an issue for me. And so I was super skinny. If you know anything about basically taking meth,
He's never taken meth. Let's not.
But
get
it
that
is a
out there.
methamphetamine, and no, you don't eat on it. So I was super tiny, and honestly, I hated it. I hated being small. I wanted to be bigger. I wanted to be better. I was never into sports. Like my school didn't have a lot of, sports and whatnot that I was really interested in. They had the basics, baseball, soccer, etc. He came from a much bigger high school that offered everything. And so I didn't really start getting into, working out and whatnot until I was about 21. And that's when it all kind of really took hold. And it really stems from, if we're going to be completely honest, the nerd aspect of Dragon Ball Z. And seeing juicy, jacked guys throw around energy balls, blowing up worlds and whatnot, okay? So that's pretty well where it really originated from. And so we started on our path to, beating plateaus and getting better. That was our first real adversity, was weightlifting and training and pushing our bodies to the limit and there were times when you were setting records in high school and stuff, weren't you?
Yeah, I always had a really good mindset for lifting. Like my mind has always been stronger than my body. I had a big mind, little body mentality. Like that's just how it was. And I was always real thin, real little. But you see this little guy walking around, 150 pounds, and I was able to bench 300 and something, and
it's on video.
It is, and I was able to, deadlift over 400, which is, it's not superhuman strength, but for my body weight and how long I was doing it was pretty impressive to me.
Oh yeah.
And my biggest thing was always trying to get bigger. Like I have a really weird mind. Like I see myself, I don't look at myself as great as as some other people would think I would be. So you have memories on Facebook and all that stuff, and I look back and I'm like, my God, I thought I was kind of big then, and I was so tiny. super tiny, super thin, just frail, and now I dwarf that, and I still don't even feel like I'm all that, big. I'm 200 pounds, it's not huge, but
And I'm
it's
sitting
bigger
at
than I
like
ever thought I would ever be in my life.
215 right now. So I've added almost 100 pounds from my high school, my senior year. And he's
Yeah, about the closest same thing.
yeah.
I think I graduated at like 110, something like that. It was real little. I was a sprinter, so I was a little guy.
So let's go into like the motivations of why fitness is important, because there's different degrees. As you can see, I lift for self-improvement, but I'm drinking a twisted tea at 12 o'clock. We had a bus day for work. I enjoy to indulging in, pastimes, alcohol and whatnot. I'm not perfect by any means. I don't lift to have an 8-pack or, whatever. I lift to keep myself on a routine track, which keeps my life on a routine track. So my benefits to lifting is basically an organization to my life, and I can let off steam and whatnot when we get super stressed out and whatnot. It's a constant. When you're in business and whatnot, there are no constants. It's changing all the time. So if you can find anchors in your life to kind of keep you grounded, that's basically what we use lifting for. There are people that use it to, feel better about themselves, lose weight and whatnot. Anything that you can find in fitness is beneficial in almost every aspect of your life. Your energy levels go up. The way you process foods and just the way you process life in general. Because if you can get behind 300 plus pounds on a bench press, then figuring out, the drill broke today, it seems minuscule. Okay, there's your micros and majors in life. And we started turning, majors to us into micros. And that's our whole principle.
It's almost basically don't sweat the small stuff in a layman's term. We just took all of our biggest concerns, as we progressed in life, and just somehow compartmentalized them into smaller categories. Like, man, is this really that bad? No. Like, what's spending us for a couple $100s to fix a little thing, which normally would have, crushed us back in the day. We just had to, move priorities around, and like, what is the big things we need to worry about? These are the small things. If there's small things we need to worry about, just kind of wave them off and just get it done. Not a big deal.
And what's the goal? Where are your eyes set? And that's something that you always have to remember, that's why we can move things around, issues and whatnot, and say, that's not that big of a deal, we'll get to that later. And just kind of maneuver through the smog of owning a business and whatnot. And there are so many attributes that we got from actually working out and fitness that we can use in our everyday lives. For instance, pushing a line through a pipe, whereas it will take 2 guys to push a line through a pipe, I can come in and manhandle it and get it through myself. There's benefits to all aspects of being more efficient as a human being. And that's all you're doing, is you're fine-tuning your body to be more efficient. The more efficient your body is, the more efficient your mind can be. Mm-hmm. And moving forward. And that's what we use fitness for. And I would, even if you don't own a business, if you don't have a successful, mindset or whatnot, let's say you have anxiety and depression and whatnot, you can enclose yourself in a world of self-improvement. And then when you step out that door, you already have accomplishments for your day. You're already winning, okay? So you have a one-up on the terribleness of the world, so to speak, however you're looking at it. If you're on drugs, you can feel healthier. Your body starts producing endorphins and whatnot, whereas you might get endorphins from the drugs that you're taking. You'll get endorphins from the, accomplishments that you're actually doing. It goes into, I would highly recommend that anybody, whether you want to own a business, whether you just want to feel better, you want to look better, it trickles down into all facets of life. And these are things that we had learned. And if you want to take it a step further, martial arts. That's an interesting kind of area that works more than your body. It works your mind out. You get more disciplined. You start learning where your body is in space and time. And you can actually start moving things around in your mind. And I highly recommend that you take steps of self-improvement no matter what category of life you are in.
Yeah, and I don't think we would be necessarily where we are if we didn't take the workout route. Because for me, it was a lot of mindset. I've always been pretty self-disciplined. I can tell myself to do something and I'll just do it. But like if I didn't do it, for instance, I had a loss of control feeling. And for me, I like to have control. And working out in my body is something I can control. You have people that have that excuse, well, I'm overweight, or I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't make time. This is just something you have to understand, like within yourself. Do you want this bad enough? For me, I wanted to have control over my life. So I prioritize certain things, move things around, change schedule, lost a little sleep here, lost a little this here to gain this there, and it gives you a more sense of control if you can, structure your schedule and get the workout routine in that you want, and it just helps that mindset even further, especially with progressing throughout the day and the weeks and the months. It's just a much more efficient way to live that I've noticed.
And then a tool bag, okay? So you have a little secret when times get tough, and because again, we're human, and that's why we're here. We're going to tell you that we've been overly depressed. We've had suicidal thoughts. Again, we'll get into that much later, but having that in your utility belt of saying, okay, I need to shut down all of this thought process and I need to just go to the gym and I need to focus on just getting it out, getting blood flow going, breathing, and just kind of disattaching yourself from the world that's around you that's, potentially falling apart. That has literally, especially me, I can name multiple instances where I'm like, okay, this breakup's happening, and it's the worst thing in the universe. I'm gonna go get jacked out of my mind. I'm gonna look so good that it's whatever. And the thing is, it's not that the looks are important or whatnot. It's the mindset of getting through the issue that you're facing. It gives you an outlet that a lot of people don't have, that they can't step out of their life or escape to somewhere outside the home or whatnot. And that's been a big part or benefit to me in dealing with life stresses and whatnot. And I think you as well.
Yeah, and with the working out and all that, it's just like he was saying, it'll trickle into the other parts of your life. And once you have like that kind of structure, you can actually, it's not just a habit anymore, you turn it into self-discipline. Because there's like yesterday and the day before, I didn't really feel like working out, but I thought to myself, man, if I don't do it, I'm gonna feel even worse. So I went ahead and just did it. And as I was doing it, I got into it, I got pumped, I got ready, and afterwards I felt amazing. And I follow a pretty strict program, and I didn't want to fall behind and have to worry about it because it gives me anxiety. So I was like, man, I have the ability to control this, so I'm going to control it. I'm going to do it my own way, and I have the self-discipline. I didn't want to do it then, but I was like, man, this is going to benefit me in the long run to do it, so I'm just going to do it now. And that's what I did.
When life is out of control, focus on the things that you can control. And that's what going to the gym or even having a really sick home gym, because that's at the point that we're at. We have really sick home gyms now because we said, okay, the world's going batshit crazy. So we can't go to the gym, or we weren't at that time. And I took a Billy Wop from it. You know, I didn't lift for like 3 months. And then I went through a move and I didn't lift for a month there. And now I'm back into it. And he's all looking like juicy pumped over here. And I'm heavier. I'm literally like, okay. So like, you know, whatever. He looks better right now, but that's my fault. I let things out of my control. And so you'll get to see his home setup. Tomorrow morning, you'll see my home setup. And hopefully we can motivate you and show you that it doesn't matter what is going on in the world, you have control. And that's what we want to show. It doesn't matter your background that you come from. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. Nothing matters but you. You matter. Your choices matter. The outlook that you have on life matters. None of these environmental things matter. Intermission. So, camera died. We're back up. Now, focusing on things that you can control, that are within your power, okay? It's very important that you learn to push through things, as we were saying. This segues into the other things, the disciplines and whatnot, the smaller steps, money management. Now, this is an interesting topic because
we have very different ways of money management, like to the spectrum of way the freaking hell over there and way over here. Like, we are far in between.
So now, whereas you would think like me and him would be, as business partners, kind of going in one direction to meet in the middle, not on this. He's here and I'm going this way, okay? And that's how it's been for quite some time, with his discipline and the way he controls his money flow and the foresight that he has into his bills, future, because he doesn't just think of, okay, I've got, you know, this week I've got this, and this to pay for. He's months in advance a lot of the times.
I like to prepare for worst case scenarios, best case scenarios, every scenario. The more that I can control and predict, the less I'm caught off guard. Like, I can't control everything. Like, you can't, but you can control a lot of aspects in life. So if I'm controlling as much as I possibly can, that kind of lessens a blow that I can't control on. You know, with money, bills, like I've had sump pumps go out many times in the last couple of years. I've just had, you know, appliances go out. You know, it's just nice to have cushions for that kind of stuff. You never know when you're gonna need, you know, money. Like I had to be in quarantine for 2 weeks. Good thing I saved up some money for that too.
I mean, that is, being prepared is everything. But on the flip side, on my side, I have redlined for the past decade, you know, and in doing that, you find very interesting ways to survive, and you know how to stretch a dollar. And so now with developing these money management skills, I always have money now. Always. Now, is it as much as him? No. But if I have a couple $100s in my account, that's capped. Like, I'm not falling into a red line. That's now become my red line. And in life, you always need to be leveling up, picking up the bar, because a couple $100, is that better or worse than $2,000? when your AC unit goes out, and then you got to take out a loan and whatnot. Another interesting thing about the money management thing is my credit and whatnot, the way I've structured all of my existence versus the way he has had to structure his. He's taking a lot more of the blow of financial burden or loan acquiring, acquiring all the loans and whatnot for a lot of the trucks for the business and that. Whereas I have nothing on my credit score whatsoever. I've got a couple of credit cards that I pay on right now, and we're both climbing the credit ladder, figuring that whole, because there's a whole science to that as well. And it's super important. I cannot stress this enough, to figure that out immediately, because that game is much more important than your pocket money game.
Credit, for me, I always kind of thought of it as, I'll use it if I need it kind of a deal. But when you need it and you don't have that credit,
done.
You're denied whatever. Like for me, I want to get into another house. I have some things I need to get out of my name, move over. My credit's doing pretty good, but I also have to wait, like a year and a half to do certain things, and that's how a lot of credits are. They don't, jump up overnight. You have to start early on this stuff. Whether it's taking a little credit card out, paying it month by month, or just a little loan to kind of pay it off, or paying off any debts you have. Stay away from hard inquiries. I was at like a 714 this time last year. I tried helping a buddy out get a truck, and they ran my credit down to freaking 620. I lost 100 points in inquiries trying to help a guy out, and it panned out nowhere. So be wary of that kind of stuff as well. And now I'm back into the 700s finally, and
I'm encroaching for the first time in probably 5 years. I mean, this is the thing. We're human. Again, as we're always going to tell you, we're not going to lie about anything. We're
also, in our early 30s, and this is stuff that you don't think about when you're growing up.
You don't
18 years old.
Learn about it. Yeah, Nobody teaches you this stuff.
Your parents might mention it, but they don't. Even my parents didn't even really understand credit. And we don't fully understand it, but we also know what helps it, what hurts it, and how to get better at it.
Take a credit card, for example. Having a credit card isn't everything. It's managing the credit card that's everything. Keeping your credit limit under 10% usage, paying it off. 10% usage, paying it off. You see a lot of people get a credit card and they'll go oh, well, I want a couch, or I want a PlayStation, or whatnot. And they'll blow their credit usage out because erratic purchases hurt it. Being consistent is everything, which goes back to working out and whatnot. Learning consistency, learning self-control and whatnot. And that's what we're trying to show, are these little steps that you can take in life.
That'll carry over, like the consistency in working out, the self-discipline. Will carry into money management. I've been in his spot too, where I've redlined on the money, and I was never again. And like he mentioned, setting the bar. If I have less than $2,000 in my bank account, I'm sweating, because that is
literally freaking out.
I freak out. I need to make money right then, right now. I get really nervous. I get anxiety. I like to be in a comfortable $5 to $7 grand, just sitting cash, just in case. I also do little investments here and there too, but just to have it as a just in case. But the self-discipline will carry over from money to managing your credit, and it's just all encompasses, similar to a pyramid kind of a situation where you just have your base and then everything just piles on top of it, and you're just a stronger entity because you have those disciplines and those foundations and those building blocks, if you will.
And that leads into starting a business without a credit base, because the interesting thing is, for you to do anything business-wise, they're going off of your credit first. Your business has to establish credit over time, just like you had to establish credit over time. So if your business does not have credit, you better have the credit to back your business up, because there are multiple little. We got lucky with the way we structured business and whatnot, and the ties and the networks that we had developed over the course of time, to where we didn't have to go out and blow tons of money, or I should say blow tons of debt. Okay, our debt ratio is relatively low for being business owners. He wouldn't think so, but relatively, yes. There's about, at least $400,000 that is not connected to us in debt, which allows us to have room to grow. And so figuring out how you're going to organize your business and what skills, these little stepping stones, how you're going to maneuver yourself into this realm of being a self-proprietor or business owner or whatnot. And money management is everything. Knowing what the dollar does, knowing how you can spend the dollar, knowing the investment of a dollar. Take, for instance, buying a commercial gym setup. Okay, so you have a hobby. Why not take that hobby and make money off of that hobby? Mm-hmm. That is smart investments. That's saying, okay, this benefits me greatly, not only by health, but by the disciplines and organizations skills in my life. Now can I turn it in, make it into money? And that's one of our next phases, is turning what passion we have inside of us, because directional drilling is not necessarily like something we wake up super excited about. It literally segues into our passions and being in passionate business, and something that you can't get tired of, that isn't draining, that you're motivated and you wake up to do every day. This is like the road of hard knocks, so to speak. We are doing this to get to where we want to be in our life. And so that's something I would also set yourself up with your purchases and whatnot.
Yeah,
Can this make you money?
Like we were discussing that too. Like if we buy a commercial gym equipment, we both have our own home gyms now, essentially. Now we can take on clients if we will. If we have the time allocated, we can charge, $20 a week or a month or whatever, something to recoup any costs that we put into it. That's the mindset we gotta look at. Like everything you do, like we were talking about the people that buy lawnmowers. You buy a zero-turn lawnmower for yourself and for your yard, but imagine, have somebody else take that lawnmower and put it to work and give you, a little cut on the side.
Right.
There's just little intricacies like that people don't have that mindset unlocked, to where, man, I've already purchased this is already in my possession. Don't let it just work for you. Let it work for everything, let it be a passive income for you. You don't have to do anything off. We've put people in our gyms, we don't have to do anything. It's already ours. It's passive income, and that's where we are starting to finally evolve into, is trying to get to the point of having a passive income, because we're already killing ourselves doing the business we have. But to have a supplemental passive income is going to be a much greater benefit to us, especially in the long run.
You get your bread and your butter with something that's going to sustain you completely and still allow for growth. That's super important. Don't get into anything that, number one, you're going to be miserable with. You're going to fail. If you are not 100% into this and you're not building up your foundational blocks, you're going to get train wrecked. Life is going to come in, something's going to happen, something's going to break, somebody's going to quit, somebody's going to steal a truck from you. We have multiple stories where I say, I promise you, you would not be sitting here if you had gone through what we have gone through. And we have set ourselves up to move forward at all times. Be prepared, saying, okay, now it's time to expand. We don't want to do this forever. Well, we will do this forever, but what could our time be allocated better to do? What are the better investments? What's the better time investment and whatnot? And the growth is there. And so that's these little tidbits, and it can be anything, doing yoga, anything that, puzzles, calms your mind, meditating, anything that can center you, ground you, and teach you something. Did you know how to directional drill before you started directional drilling?
Of course not.
We didn't go to school, no trade school, which it blows my mind that directional drilling is not a trade because it's very intricate. Very intricate.
Yeah, they do have little courses that some of the companies will put on, but there's no real teaching.
How to excavate properly with a mini and not break water lines or gas lines or whatnot. Those are the things.
If you look at our directional drilling operation, this is solely built on trial and error. This wasn't taught to us. Very little bit was taught to us. This was all mistake driven and learning and pushing through it all. I mean, we've made every mistake you can make, every single mistake, and we've figured a way out, and this is what we want to do with our lives. We want to make this our bread and butter to help us transition to our hobbies, if you will. I always think of it this way. If someone comes up to you and says you're going to have the best life ever for the rest of your life, but you got to eat shit for 5 years, you do it. You eat shit for 5 years to have the best life after
but
that.
Do they though?
You invest yourself in that.
That's something that I see. How many of you are willing to eat shit sandwiches for 5 years to literally have no more worries, no more financial worries?
And then you get the people that are like, well, how do I know? You just have to believe in yourself. You have to. We set ourselves up to a fail.
There's no guarantees.
Or success situation.
It's do or die.
We have to, we have a big project coming up. We have to do it. If we don't get that done, we will probably go bankrupt. So, we put ourselves in that position to where we have to do.
And it's constantly like that.
Yeah.
There is no
we don't have loopholes.
Choice. We don't give ourselves, should we do it? Should we? There is no choice. It is do or die mentality. And I can't stress that enough. And that came also from working out. Mm-hmm. It's when you get under that weight, you're either pushing it or it's falling on you.
For me, when I bench press, I don't have a spotter. I do everything myself. I like to rely on myself and believe in myself. If I don't believe in myself, I'm getting crushed.
It doesn't matter if anybody else believes in you. Nobody matters but you. Always remember that. You believe in yourself, you will make this happen. Period, the end. There is no, don't overthink things. One of my favorite things is, and I have to remember this because it was amazing when I thought of it. Be smart enough to make business work, but dumb enough to not quit. Okay? Be dumb enough to literally stay in business because it's chaos 24/7, but smart enough to make it work. Period, the end. If you overthink it, you're doomed. You will literally give yourself an ulcer. He's prime example. He does finances, all that. You literally cannot overthink this process. And if a door opens and you're like, oh, should I do it? No, you don't think. Don't think. Be smart enough to make it work. Dumb enough to never give up. That's it. And you'll make it. I promise. Period, the end. It's time. You put in the time, you put in the effort, I promise you'll make it work. I would
that's something
guarantee it.
I challenge to anybody is to find something that maybe they're on the fence about, you know, like maybe I want to do this, maybe I want to do that. Kind of put yourself in a deficit where you have to do that. I mean, you're not going to truly understand or know what you want to do until you attempt to do it. If I were to quit my drilling job to, I don't know, my passion would be opening Pokemon cards like that one guy you like. Do it. Just sit there and open Pokemon packs and put it on YouTube if that's what you want to do.
He was a lawyer.
You know, do what you want to do, and doing stuff like that, you'll find out, like, man, is this really something I wanted to do? Maybe it wasn't, you know, and then you'll regress, and then you'll go back to the drawing board. You know, we didn't know if we wanted to do videos, YouTube, gym stuff, because we tried kind of somewhat before. We got discouraged, but we also thought too much of what people cared about, you know, and now we just got to this point where who cares what they think? This is something we want to do. Like, we'll get haters, we always will. But we're going to just be open about it and be ourselves, and we're going to do what we want to do.
And we're going to accomplish things. When we say we're going to do something, our word is everything. We accomplish it, period, the end. It's when I transitioned from the prison to this, I had no idea if it was going to work or not. I believed in myself. I believed in him, period, the end. That was it. That's all I had was a belief. And I said, I'm going to do this. And if not, I guess I'm dead. And that's it. I gave up a $60,000 a year job. And it's been working just fine for the past 3 years.
And we're in a much happier space.
I'm so much more calm.
We have more material things. We have more, you know, our minds are not super bogged down by stress. We have free floating schedules. We can maneuver things a lot easier. We're not bogged into a system to where we have to do this, this, and this. It's very
freeing.
Yeah, it's just a freeing experience, if you will.
There's a lot of growth in this. There's a lot of insight and things that you'd be surprised what you are capable of when you're really put to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So
and to get to the point of what I was trying to say is just, it sounds stupid to just say believe in yourself and do it, but that's kind of what we did. You know, you get those founding blocks, the starting blocks of your foundation. You get your P's and Q's in order, and then you just double down on yourself, believe in yourself, and then go for it. Like, just straight beeline towards that goal, and just don't stop. Just don't stop doing it.
I mean, he wasn't always like that also.
No, not even close.
He would overthink things and stay to a safer route, and now he's like a madman just running through. And I mean, there's still growth. You know, he's growing, I'm getting more safe as he's getting a little more willy-nilly. And it's working. It's a balance. It's opens doors and avenues that you would never see possible. Being, you know, locked in a box into a career or whatnot, are you ever going to meet the millionaires that you need to meet to open the doors? Are you ever going to meet the martial artists that are going to change your lives? Are you ever going to get to go campaign for senators and whatnot? No. If you shut yourself to this is my life, then that's going to be your life. You know why? Because you're saying it. Mm-hmm. You're doing it.
You gotta open those doors and just go through any opportunity you can. You know, if put yourself out there, and you know, you're a little fish, you'll find a hook. Like, guaranteed, it will happen. You know, maybe not now, but it will happen.
And hopefully you don't get ripped up from the seabed and chopped up.
And if you do, you keep going.
As a ghost. But, I mean, I can't stress that enough. I will end this on this. We're not saying go out, make reckless choices, but you got to have faith in yourself. Mm-hmm. You got to have like, when I jumped, I had enough foundation to know when I landed, my house wasn't going to crumble. And I didn't have much of a house back then. Let me just say that. But I knew I could survive it. I knew I would survive it. I knew I had already survived it. In my head, it was already done. And those are little just secrets, mindset secrets that you won't understand, but when you start doing it, you will understand it, because we already know it's done. We already know we're going to open Legacy up, and we already know we're going to do this podcasting thing. It's already happening.
We put it in the universe. You know, it's something we're thinking of. We're putting it out there, and whether it's received great or not, it's still what we are doing, and it's what we're about.
So
and I think
let's pump up. Let's get more motivated. Let's do some exciting stuff. Don't don't be upset about life all the time. You know, let's do some positive things, even if they're scary, even if they're going to lead to catastrophically bad things. Those bad things will always lead to better things. Growth is only in adversity. That's in the gym, and that's in life. So we're going to show you some clips of him working out, then some clips of me working out.
Yeah, if you want to, just go to the Legacy Imagine YouTube, and you can see that stuff there. You guys won't obviously see it on the podcast, but it'll be on YouTube if you want to just take a look, and we'll end up throwing some work footage out there at some point, kind of showing what we do. We may do some little vlogs here and there just to kind of give you guys a little more insight on our life and what we do. And most importantly, just give it everything you got! I gotta pee so bad. Oh, it's still on.